Welcome to Hack Invaders. My name is Jeff, and I'll be presenting prompt engineering. So, why does prompting matter? Here's an example of a bad prompt. So, in this case, a bad prompt generated all of these like random colors, and it just overall does not look very organized. Here's an example of a good prompt. Here you can see that everything looks very clean and the UI is easy to understand. So, basically, the better prompt means better vibes. So, the better prompt that you give it initially will mean you have to do less debugging, and overall the file structures and everything later on will be more organized and easy to follow, and it'll benefit you in the future. So here you can see the development of with AI. So when ChatGPT was released, people used to use Stack Overflow to ask questions about coding, and after that, after ChatGPT was released, Stack Overflow plummeted, and yeah, basically people just use AI now to ask their questions. So what is prompt engineering? Prompt engineering is basically designing instructions so the AI gives useful output. And what does this mean? You're giving the model a context, task, format, and constraints so that the model knows exactly what you want and how you want it so it can produce correct results. So, what is bad prompting? Bad prompting are prompts that are basically too vague, that are missing context. There's no clear goal. There's no output format specified. There's You're asking for too much at once, and you're assuming the AI knows what you mean. So all of these can lead to bad prompts. And here, with the image on the right, you can see that it's pretty random, and it was likely generated by a bad prompt. So what are some good prompts? Good prompts include the audience, the goal, and the tone, and it has constraints like length, style, or format. Here's an example of a bad prompt. So if you wanted to explain machine learning, if you just said explain machine learning is a very wide concept, and AI will probably give you vague, generic answers that you probably already know. And a better prompt would be explain machine learning to a high school student in 5 bullet points with one real world example. And here you're giving the AI exactly what you want and how you want it. So there are four parts of a good prompt. The role, basically who the AI should act as. The task, what you want to get done. The context, the background information that it needs, and the format. And this is basically how the output should look like. So you need all of these because the AI has an incredibly large knowledge base, and basically you want it to be like an assistant that should help you. You want to tell it obviously what you want to get done, and then you have to give context because without context, it doesn't know exactly how you want it to get done. So here are some prompting techniques. Firstly, you would want to start off with a clear background and context, and then you would break the complex tasks into smaller tasks so that the AI can follow it better. And then you would want to ask for a specific output format with clear expectations so that the AI knows exactly how you want the output to look like. And then after it generates your first initial responses, you can refine your prompts after each response to tune the AI to how you want it, how you want your answers to generate. So here's a couple more examples of bad versus good prompting. So here are some bad responses. Make me a video game, add enemies, my game is broken. And on the right, following the four parts of a good prompt: role, task, context, and format. Here are just some examples that you could use. So there are also limitations and things to watch out for when you're prompting. The first off, probably the biggest thing is hallucinations. Not everything that the AI generates is actually factually correct. You also don't want it to accidentally leak personal info. So you have to check what the AI generates. So basically, fact check the things that the AI generates. So hallucinations. What are hallucinations? Hallucinations are when an AI gives information that sounds confident and believable, but is actually false. And this happens because the model predicts likely text patterns and not because it verifies everything it outputs. Because how the AI is trained, which is basically a transformer. What a transformer does is basically it gets a bunch of data and trains a bunch of weights based on that data. And because of this, it doesn't actually know the context itself and it just learns patterns. So because of these patterns, not everything that it generates is actually factually correct. That's why you need a fact check. So the thing why prompting matters here is because better prompts makes the AI give more specific responses, which means that it gives less hallucinations in general. So that's why you would want better prompts. You would also don't want to leak sensitive information like your API keys. If your API keys get leaked to the public, then this could be very bad and charge you a lot of money. So the main fix to this is put your API keys in a .n file and make sure your .n file is in a git ignore file so you don't push it to your GitHub on accident. So here are some AI that programmers use. There are chatbots like ChatGPT and Gemini where you can ask questions and plan what you want to do. And there's AI that lives in your IDE such as Cursor, Cloud Code, and ZAI. So you would also want to create a plan. So creating a comprehensive plan beforehand to feed the AI could be very helpful, and you would know exactly what you want in your project. Then you would want to ask the AI to modify bits of your program as you see necessary so that you can generate responses that you need. So how do you create an effective plan? You can either write the plan yourself, but these AI tools also provide you tons of ways you can use them to generate your plans. So there's uh, Cursor's plan mode, which basically you prompt it and it'll create a plan and you can edit the plan. And then after you create the plan, it'll start editing your files. There's also Amazon's Kiro IDE's implementation plan feature, which basically does the same thing. So now setting up your environment, what you should download. When you are a college student, there are a lot of tools that are actually free. So for example, Cursor has a 1 year student free plan. So it gives Cursor Pro for students. Gemini also has a 1 year free plan. Yeah, so that's very helpful. Also, the Claude Builder Club at UCLA gives out free Claude every quarter. So you just gotta go. You gotta go to their meetings, and you'll get free Claude. So now let's move on to a demo. So I have an example of a bad prompt here. So let's say I wanted to make a ping pong game for Hack Invaders, and here you can see the prompt is very vague, so it shouldn't generate that good of a prompt. So here I'm just going to use VS Code's agent. So I'm going to use Cloud Code here. And we're going to paste in the bad prompt and let's see what it generates. Because I'm creating a plan from scratch or I'm creating a game from scratch, this might take a while. So I might just cut the video. So here it wants to write pingpong.html. So I'm going to allow that. So here it seems like it's done and I can just run it at this HTML page. Okay, it actually seems pretty good. Yeah, AI now is really good. So even with bad prompts, it still works. So yeah, it seems like it still works. But let's see what it generates with a good prompt now. So I'm gonna go back and get the good prompt. So here you can see it's much longer and it has the role, what you want, the output, and some context. So here, um, okay, so it's generating 3 files. Oh, and what this is basically I'm using the Cloud Code extension on VS Code. Um, if you were to go to the Cloud Builder Club, the Pro plan is free, so you could just use that. Um, but yeah, this is just an extension on VS Code. You could also download their browser, or you can just run it in the terminal, and they will all work. So here it looks like it's done. So all I gotta do is do this, and then yeah. So now I'm playing the AI. So you can see that with just one prompt, I can create an automatic script that hits the ball. So it senses where the ball is. And yeah, now I don't have to play with just um, 2 people. I can also play with the AI. So here you can see what prompting can give us. And yeah, thank you guys for listening. And I'm excited to see you guys at Hack Invaders.